Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. We have a really great presentation lined up for you tonight. We actually have a guest from our 911 call center from the Department of Public Safety Communications, and you're going to learn all about calling 911. And just so you guys know, it's actually not National 911 Education Month. So we are super excited to be able to host Austyn Ries here, and she's the outreach coordinator. And I am going to just turn it right over to her, and she's going to take it away.
Thank you, Courtney, and good evening, everyone. Super excited to be here tonight. As Courtney said, we're going to talk about 911. So let's get right into it. So just some of the things that we're going to go into tonight, the importance of 911. We're going to talk about a brief history of 911 and how it came to be, and then a little bit about our call volume, some statistics from our public safety answering point, which is just our call center. We'll talk about tips to get the most out of this emergency service. So most people know how to call 911, but I'll talk about how to make it most effective for you. And then after that, we are going to go into the emergency versus non-emergency. So when you should call 911 or when you should call our non-emergency number. Another thing we're going to go into is text to 911. We're going to learn when and how to text 911 instead of calling. Our language line services will be talked about, so you can know what to expect when calling 911 as a non-English speaker, and if you have any friends or family, you can pass that along. And then lastly, we will discuss a little bit about the Emergency Health Profile, which is a voluntary database. So just our values here. Our mission is that we serve the people of Fairfax County by responding to all emergency calls for help with excellence, integrity, and compassion. And our vision is that we strive to provide world-class public safety services to the people of Fairfax County, optimizing every aspect of our operations to continue to be the nation's leader in the 911 industry. So here is a timeline for the history of 911. In 1937, the concept of 911 was actually introduced in the United Kingdom using the number 999. U.S. military personnel learned about the concept while serving in UK during World War II. Then moving on to 1957, the International Association of Fire Chiefs, which is actually now headquartered in Fairfax County, petitions the Federal Communications Commission to establish a 3-digit universal emergency services number in the U.S. Fast forward a year to 1958, and the FCC reserves 911 for use by any jurisdiction, electing to establish a 3-digit emergency number to call for police, fire, and rescue or emergency medical services. Then in 1967, the President's Commission on Law Enforcement and Administration of Justice recommends establishing a single number nationwide for reporting emergency situations. The FCC also met with the American Telephone and Telegraph Company, or AT&T, to find a means to quickly implement a universal emergency services number. In 1968, AT&T announces plans to establish 911 as the emergency code throughout the US. They chose 911 because it's brief, easy to remember, and can be dialed quickly. It's also never been authorized for an office code, area code, or a service code. And then on February 16th, Senator Rankin Fight actually completed the first 911 call, which was made in the United States from Halleyville, Alabama. Just a little fun fact for you there. In 1973, the White House Office of Telecommunications issued a national policy statement recognizing the benefits of 911, encouraging the nationwide adoption of 911, and providing for the establishment of a federal information center to assist units of government in planning and implementation. In 1981, that is when actually Fairfax County adopted 911 as its emergency service number. And in 1991, Congress designated the second week in April as National Public Safety Telecommunications Week. So we just had some celebrations recently to recognize our 911 personnel who help save countless lives every day by dispatching law enforcement, fire and rescue, and emergency medical services. And then in 2008 is when an act of Congress designated April as National 911 Education Month. So it's a perfect time for education on the importance of 911 to public safety, which is one of the reasons why we're here with you tonight. And then in 2009, about 96% of the geographic United States is covered by some type of 911. Okay, so just a little bit statistics from our call center, our Fairfax County call volume. This is in 2022, last year. So you can see month by month how many calls we received. It's usually about 100,000 per month, which adds up to over 1 million per year. And we do answer non-emergency and emergency calls. So you can kind of see the summer months are a little bit busier, but year round, it keeps our staff busy for sure. So speaking of those answering the calls to meet our team, we have highly trained specialized call takers. They go through a 12-week academy course where they get trained in everything that they need to know and the certifications that they need for their job. And we like to say that they are the first of the first responders. When you're having a crisis or an emergency, they're the first ones that you're going to speak to, even before the first responders arrive on scene. So we say that they're the critical link to those in need, who are rarely seen but always heard, and heroes behind the scene. So just appreciating them as much as we can. So just to talk about what to do when you call 911, and again, how to make it most effective for you. First and foremost, we would love for you to do your best to stay calm and speak clearly, although we do know that it is an emergency situation and sometimes it's hard to stay calm. I know for me, I tried to just take a deep breath because I know that if a call taker relies on their ability to hear and understand you. So if you're panicking and not able to speak clearly, then they're not going to be able to get you help that you need. Um, and of course, always get to safety before calling. And then the first thing that they're going to ask you when they get on the phone with you is, where's your location? So what is the address of your emergency? So right away, let them know your location. That way, in case any kind of disconnection happens, they can still send help. So always try to know where you are. If you're traveling, things like that, maybe think ahead, be prepared, and be specific. So think about if you're in an apartment building or a townhome, or even if you're in an office building, you're going to want to tell them what floor you're on, the number of your apartment building, all the specifics. And then lastly, you can also, if sometimes we just don't know our address, that's going to happen from time to time, you can always use recognizable intersections, like street intersections or a recognizable landmark, as well as nearby stores. Sometimes they can actually get your location through that way. And then they're going to ask you a lot of questions. Sometimes people think, why are you asking me all these questions? But as long as they've gotten your location, they're going to be sending that help already. So answering their questions is not going to delay the response at all. It's actually going to improve the quality of your response because they're updating the first responders that are actually on scene with that information that you're giving them. And then you also want to follow all their instructions, and of course, do not hang up until you are told it is safe to do so. So the call taker or dispatcher will let you know when to hang up. And along those same lines, if you accidentally call 911, which nowadays it's so easy to do with all of our smartphones and smartwatches, just do not hang up. Stay on the line and just let them know that there is no emergency so that they don't have to send anyone. They might ask your name and number, and that's it. Just try to be more careful next time. All right, and so I wanted to play a little clip of a 911 call, what it might sound like. So we're going to listen to a call now.
Fairfax County 911, where is your emergency?
Yes, I'm driving on Route 50 and I see a car accident. It looks like there might be some people hurt.
Okay, and where on Route 50 is this?
It's right by the intersection to Graham Road.
Okay, Route 50 and Graham. And do you know if it was eastbound or westbound on Route 50?
Let's see, it's heading towards DC, so that'd be eastbound.
Eastbound. Okay, and may I have your name, please?
Yes, my name is Marie Smith.
Okay, and what phone number are you calling from?
703-691-2131.
Okay, and what kind of vehicles were there? The first one, can you tell me what color it was?
It looks like a red pickup truck.
Okay, and the second vehicle, do you remember what color it was?
I can tell you it was white. I don't know exactly what kind, but it was like a small four-door car.
Small sedan, okay. And about how many people were there, do you know?
I'm not sure. I just passed by, but it did look like they hit pretty hard and someone might be hurt.
Okay, and they were blocking traffic?
Yes, they couldn't move their cars out of the road. And actually, I did see like one woman holding her head like she was in pain, so.
Okay, so at least one female. Okay,
yeah.
Thank you very much. We've got a call started. They are headed that way, and thank you very much for calling in.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Great, so in that call, you can hear the first question that the call taker asked is, where's your emergency? And they will ask you what direction you're heading, if it's northbound, southbound. So do your best to answer that. And then they try to get more information, more details about the incident, so that way they know the best equipment and people to send. All right, so let's get into our non-emergency. So the Fairfax County non-emergency is down in the left corner. I like to tell people to actually put that in their phone contacts, and that way you won't have to memorize it. You can just look it up in your phone whenever you might need it. So these are examples of some of the reasons why you might call the non-emergency number. So reporting a crime that has taken place and is no longer in progress. So the important part being that the crime is no longer in progress. So let's say a theft of a bicycle or the theft of a car, or maybe you wake up and go out to your car and see that it was broken into, but it's no longer taking place. You can call the non-emergency number and they will send out a police officer as soon as they can, but the 911 emergency calls will take precedence. Another thing you could call for is noise complaints. So incessant, nonstop dog barking or loud parties at all hours of the night, that kind of thing. You can go ahead and give us a call. Any suspicious activity that may indicate a crime. So, a stranger close to a home or business that's acting suspicious. It's kind of just one of those things where you'll see it you'll know it when you see it. So if you have a feeling, you can go ahead and give the non-emergency number a call and someone will check it out. Another thing is the leash law violation. So if you see an owner walking a dog without a leash, you can call the non-emergency number. Also, a car accident, as long as you're sure that there's no injuries and that it's not blocking any flow of traffic, then you could call, as well as nonviolent disputes and dumping of trash or materials onto public property. There are other things that you can call for that are not listed here. This is just some examples. So hope you're able to get that number into your phone contacts. All right. So now we're going to talk about text to 911. So we always say calling is best, but there are some situations where maybe you need to text 911. So some of those situations are if you can't speak due to some kind of injury or even a medical condition where you can't speak. If you're deaf, hard of hearing, or have a speech disability, then you could also text to 911. If you can't make a call because your phone reception is poor, sometimes because of technology communications, you can actually place a text where you might not be able to call. There are some limitations to that, but you could always try to text. And then Of course, if you're in a threatening situation and a voice call could increase the threat. So if you, let's say there's an intruder and you need to remain quiet, that would be a perfect time to text 911. So the way that you would do that is you would enter the numbers 911 into the to or recipient field. You don't need the dashes, just the numbers 911. And it's just like as if you were texting a friend or a family member. And then in the message section, again, include that location right away. And ask for whatever service you're looking for, police, fire, or ambulance, and a brief description of what's going on. Push the send button as usual. It'll go through and the call taker will text you back asking more questions. So just continue to answer all their questions and follow their instructions. All right, so some frequently asked questions here. Text to 911 is not available if you are in a roaming situation. So that is one of those limitations that I had mentioned. A text or data plan is required to place a text to 911, and of course the standard text messaging rates apply. Photos and videos cannot be sent to 911 at this time, and text to 911 is available in Fairfax County. Can't speak to other jurisdictions, but if you're in Fairfax County, it will work. And then text in simple words, no abbreviations or slang, just keep those messages short, brief, to the point. And right now, the text option is English only, but if you do have any family members or friends that don't speak English, maybe you can have them practice knowing their address in English and knowing police, fire, or ambulance in English, and then they can text that and they will get the help. All right. So our language line services are really, really important because we do receive approximately 20,000 calls that require language interpretation each year. So we want to be able to serve them as well. So I'm going to play a clip of what that sounds like so that you can know what to expect, because it does sound a little bit different, and we'll talk about it afterwards.
Fairfax County 911, where is your emergency?
Sí, habla español.
One moment, let me get an interpreter.
Okay. Please enter your employee number using the numeric keypad. Did you enter 309399? If this is correct, press 1. Please select the language you need. For Spanish, press 1. You've selected Spanish. You will be connected to the next available interpreter. So that your interpreter may better assist you, please speak in short, clear statements.
Hello, my name is Nicole, and I'll be your interpreter 400768. Please go ahead.
Yes, this is 911. Where is your emergency?
Sí, este es el 911. ¿Dónde es su emergencia?
Sí, estoy en la Fairfax County Parkway y Pope's Head y mi carro ya no funciona.
Yes, I'm on Fairfax County Parkway and Pope's Head, and my car doesn't work.
Okay, are you going north or south?
¿Está yendo al norte o al sur?
Estoy yendo al norte.
I'm going north.
Okay, and what is your name?
¿Cuál es su nombre?
Mi nombre es Selena.
My name is Selena.
And Selena, can I get your last name, please?
Selena, ¿me puede dar su apellido, por favor?
Quintanilla.
Quintanilla.
And what is your phone number?
¿Cuál es su número de teléfono?
703-691-2131.
703-691-2131.
Okay, and what color and type of car are you in?
¿Y qué color y tipo de carro? tiene?
Estoy en un Honda CRV, como una camioneta color gris.
I'm in a Honda CRV, like an SUV, color gray.
Okay, are you blocking a roadway?
¿Está bloqueando la calle?
Sí.
Yes.
Okay, I will get an officer out there to help you. Can you turn your hazard lights on for me?
Okay, voy a mandar policía para ayudarle. ¿Puede prender las luces de emergencia?
Sí, ya las tengo puestas.
Yes, I already have them on.
Okay, that's great. Just call back if anything changes before we get there.
Okay, llámenos para atrás si algo cambia antes que lleguen.
Okay, está bien.
Okay,
Okay, thank you, interpreter.
thank you for using our services. Interpreter 400-768.
All right, so as you heard in the call, in the beginning, there's some beeps, and then there's some space where there's no talking, and you can hear the interpreter speaking to the 911 call taker. So that is something that you will actually hear. And of course, it does take a little bit longer to communicate, but by having the interpreter, you can get a lot higher quality communication and help, because instead of having to try to understand each other, you have someone there who actually speaks whatever language that you need. So you just say the language that you need, preferably in English, so Spanish or Korean or whatever, then we will connect you. All right, and then now we are going to talk about the emergency health profile. So this is an electronic voluntary database. A little bit about it is that it helps first responders see your critical health information. So basically, you enter in different things like your address, your pre-existing conditions, or behavioral health crises information. You can put as much or as little as you want. It is 100% voluntary, and you can always delete your profile at any time. The way that it works is that we have a third-party technology company that holds the information, and then whenever you call on the cell phone that the information is registered, that information will pop up here at the 911 call center with the call taker. They will verify that information, so sometimes you use your cell phone to call for someone else, so there won't be confusion there because the call takers are trained to verify that information. But this is a good thing to have because, like we were saying, in emergency situations, sometimes it's hard to stay calm. So having that information already put out can really help with that communication as well. And even sometimes if you're having a medical emergency that renders you not able to talk, then they also will still have that information available to them as first responders to be able to help you. So down at the bottom of the screen, that is our website. So it's fairfaxcounty.gov/911/emergency health profile. If you go there, you can see more information about that. So I'm going to show you a quick little video how to sign up, and then we'll talk about it. So you'll go to emergencyprofile.org and click sign up for free. So let's go ahead and watch that video, and then we can talk about it after.
The emergency health profile is a source that a citizen can use to provide additional information to Fairfax County during the time that you're calling 911. So you can provide, by going to a web browser page, information about your medications, other information about your health profile that you would want the county to know in the time of an emergency.
Fairfax County 911, where's your emergency?
You provide that information, And when you call 911, it's something that we would have access to based on the phone number that you're calling from.
I'm going to need you to gather your medications, and I see here in your emergency health profile that you're allergic to penicillin. Please let the responders know that when they get there. That's really important.
Sometimes individuals are unconscious and unable to speak. Information as it may relate to any type of medical condition, behavioral health, we'll be able to better respond and provide the necessary services for the continuation of life.
The best place to start is to go to one of the 911 web pages for the county, fairfaxcounty.gov/911. If you go to that page, there's a link there that actually takes you to the web browser page where you'll begin to create your emergency health profile.
Great. So you will click sign up for free once you are in that web browser, and then it'll ask for your email. You give that information, then it'll ask to verify your email. So you'll see here, you'll get a code in your email, and to verify it, you just enter it here. And then it'll ask you to agree to the terms and services, pretty standard for most things that you sign up for these days. And then these are some of the things that you can enter. So of course your name, gender, age, address, email address, and phone number. But you could also enter any kind of information related to COVID-19. So if you've had it, or if you've been vaccinated, and then also pre-existing conditions, allergies like we saw in the video, and any other relevant information that you think might be important for the first responders to know. And then you could also put in an emergency contact. You're able to put in 2 here. So you would put in their name, their relation to you, and their contact information. And then at the bottom, you'll see highlighted delete my profile, because again, this is all voluntary. So if at any time you don't want it, you can delete it. And like I was saying, you can enter as much or as little information as you want, but we do say the more information that you put in, the more helpful that it will be. All right, great. So that is it for me. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you learned something, and hope to see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Austyn, for jumping on and giving us a little overview of calling 911. And, it's something that we're all probably going to do in our lifetime, but no matter how old you are, no matter how many times you do it, it's always scary. And the more information that we can give to our residents, the better it's going to be. So thank you so much for joining us. And we really want to thank the viewers. We're really excited to bring on guests each month and talk about different topics. And speaking of that, you're probably wondering what's next. And we are going to be live again on May 3rd, so the first Wednesday of the month. And we're going to be talking about emergency alerts. So we'll have a couple different guests on here who are going to talk about the different types of alerting systems and how you can get information during an emergency. And you can always find all of our calendar of events and our upcoming webinars on the Ready Fairfax website, which is right at the bottom of the screen right now. So we also have a lot of great trainings coming up. So make sure you guys do check that out and look at it a couple times a month, because we do add things as we go on. And I do see that, we have a great question if this is going to be available for future use. And that's such a great question. So this is actually being recorded. And once this is done, you can go back and watch the entire thing again. We do have a YouTube page that has a collection of all of these that we have recorded. So they are on there from last year and this year. So thank you so much for that great question. And it's always a great reminder that, even if you miss part of it, you can always go back and watch it. Thank you again, and have a great night.